Hi, I'm David Myers. I'll be your instructor for um, Introduction to Ethics. Welcome. I'm recording this the night before the class opens, and so let's just jump in with both feet. The reason I do these videos is so that you know what I expect from you and you get an overview of the entire class. And it's very important that everybody watch this video in its entirety. And it's one of the requirements for the first week of the class. The first week of the class, I have three main requirements. One, that you download and print out the syllabus. It's very important that you have that. I don't know, I mean, I won't be able to know if you've actually printed it out, but I will be able to see if you've actually read it. And so that's one of the three things. The second is I need you to sign in on the attendance board. The attendance board can be found. Um, let's see, first you're going to go up, you'll look under communications on the upper bar. Click on communications, then discussions, and you will see general discussions. You'll see your thoughts on chapters 1 through 4, your thoughts on chapters 5 through 8, your thoughts on chapters 9 through 12, and below that, you'll see the weekly attendance board. You need to sign in every week. But if you don't sign in the first week, that tells me that you haven't read the syllabus, that you haven't watched this video, and that it's likely you're not going to complete the course. So what I do is I drop you for non-participation. I don't want to do that. In a perfect world, you would all, complete all three of these things, and I expect you to. So do those things. But first, I want to go over the syllabus with you. At the top, you'll see the boilerplate stuff, Northwest Technical College, 905 Grant Avenue. Oh, and you can find the syllabus, excuse me. You go back to materials on the top list, you go to content, and then you'll see everything. I go to table of contents, um, course information. Click on that and you'll see syllabus and schedule, instructor info, and this video. Obviously, you found the video somewhere, but let's look at the syllabus. Click on that, and the syllabus pops up. You can download it, you can print it, and I think you should print it and put it in a notebook, but that's going to be up to you. We begin with, like I said, the boilerplate stuff. Fall semester, 22 August through 14 October. My name, my phone number, and a link to the email. So, my phone number, interesting. If you have any questions or concerns about the class itself as it's ongoing, um, give me a call or text me. I take texts. The number's there. Now, most people do not avail themselves of the opportunity to contact me. I don't know why. I'm not an ogre. Um, I'll take your call if I'm at work. I may wait until I get home, but it's there. And when people do call me, they like to say things like, I'm so sorry to bother you. Um, Listen, I have a job because of you. You are not bothering me by contacting me. Now, I will get a little testy um, if you ask a question that is clearly answered in this video or the syllabus, or the if you go to the assessments page or the materials page, I explain each and every assignment that comes in, and it's very easy to follow. And I may get a little testy if you haven't read the information. On the other hand, I won't be that testy. So uh, now, I do not live in Minnesota any longer. I'm in the great state of Tennessee, and we are an hour ahead of you in Knoxville. So keep that in mind. I generally go to bed by 9. Um, and so, keep that in mind if you're thinking of calling me at 9 your time. It's 10 o'clock my time. But other than that, feel free to call with questions, comments, or concerns. Email me, text me, call me. Um, and I'm serious about that. All right, so the prerequisites for this course, there are none. I think there should be. I think you should have taken college writing first, but you don't need to do that. Required course materials. Um, this is the textbook. You may have a copy of this textbook. You may have an earlier version of this textbook, or you may have purchased the e-text. Any one of those is fine. An earlier version of the text um, is not going to be laid out quite the same, but I've thought of all of that when I built this course, and we'll go over that more later. But that's what you need. I don't know why they list all those texts in the on the website. You just need one. Um, some of you may do better listening to the text than reading the text, which counts the same thing as reading it. And what I mean by that is if you bought the e-text, there is an option to have it read to you while you are driving or just sitting in your living room or your kitchen. You can have the text read to you. And so that's an advantage. Personally, I like to have a hard copy. They make different copies of this. You can get this. You could order this on Amazon as well. But they make this. They make a loose leaf edition where everything can be pulled out and whatever. I use that when I copied the first 3 chapters. But you're going to need the text. Then there's boilerplate about guidelines and academic honesty. You can read that on your own. There's the required ADA statement, American with Disabilities Act statement. Now listen, um, I'm very sympathetic to Americans with disabilities. I'm very, very hard of hearing. Um, and if you need accommodations, you just have to let me know. Let Christian Brzezinski know, and he will forward it to me, or just tell me, and we will make whatever accommodations we can make. Attendance. It is important that you document your attendance. This is an online course, and I measure attendance in a couple of ways. The first is the attendance board. You must sign in every week. Oh, I forgot. Come on. It's not that hard to remember to sign in at some point during the week. And if you don't, especially in the first week, I have to drop you. So sign in. I've showed you, or I haven't shown you where it's at, but I've described how to find it. And so if you haven't watched this video, you may have some issues, but then I'll know you haven't watched the video. So um, I also measure by course progress. I mean, say you don't sign in weeks 2 and 3, but you take the exam when it's scheduled. Well, then I know you're still there, But it really helps me to know when people are not attending by signing in on the attendance board. Very important. So attendance is important. 2 hours per week for 8 weeks, basically, the lecture, and then reading 4 hours per week. So that is the instruction delivery mode. Gosh, let's skip all this. Critical thinking, ethical responsibility, methods to assess competence. I have required reading, objective examinations. I have sorry, it's getting close to bedtime. I have ethics problem assignments and discussion boards. Those are the things that I use to come up with grades. Required course materials, textbook. You do not need a proctor for any of the exams. You're on your own. You may not use your notes or any other materials when you take the exams. Now, you can open your book, but you may not open your notes. And cheating is ground for immediate failure. Listen, I don't actively look, but this is an ethics class, and I expect everyone to act ethically. Course assignments, reading report. At the end, now listen to me, at the end of the course, not each week, not each section, at the end of the course, each student will complete a document indicating by percentage the amount of reading that you completed for the course. For instance, I would want to see this. I completed 100% of the required reading, or I completed 90, or whatever percentage that you completed. Just a simple one line on a Word document, and then you put it in the appropriate assignments folder. I know that that sounds very simple, and it is, but there are always several students that don't turn one in or say, well, what's expected of me? I've told you right here, and I've told you in several other places on D2L, Brightspace, that this is what's expected. Just a one-line document placed into a folder. I used to just say, this is it. But because I had a student that got angry because that student said that they completed 20% of the reading, and I gave them 2 points. It's worth 10 points. And that you get what you claimed that you read. So if you claim to have read 100%, you get 10 points. But this person complained and said that they should have cheated and sent that to me and to the dean. And neither of us was very sympathetic. But now I have to put it in the syllabi that what you claim is what you get. So 10% of your grade is this reading report. So if you don't turn it in, and it's due at the end of the course, if you don't turn it in, you get, that's an entire letter grade. So it's very important. And always remember, some points are better than no points. Discussions, 30% of your grade. Each student will begin 2 separate threads for each section. And remember, there are 3 sections in this class, section 1, section 2, and section 3. So each student will begin 2 separate threads for each section and respond to 4 other threads. That means that for each section, at least 2 original postings and 4 responses are required. 6 points per section for posts that you turn in. The rest of the points that make up 10 points per section is reading. You're required to read all of the texts. So students that wait to the last minute to turn in their posts are doing a huge disservice to their classmates, because nobody wants to wait up to midnight on the last night to read your texts. And so to get around that, the texts are due on Saturday night by midnight. I will not grade them until Monday morning, meaning you have Sunday to read those texts, whatever came in. So 10 points per section, 3 sections, that's 30% of your grade. Examinations are the same way. Your exams are each worth 10 points. There are 3 of them. And section 1 is chapters 1, 2, 3, 4. Section 2 is 5, 6, 7, 8. And section 3 is 9, 10, 11, and 12. So there you go. And we'll talk more about those in a couple of minutes. But that makes up 30% of your final grade. Then there are the ethics problems. Now, I used to just have a term paper, but students didn't like term papers. And so it isn't that I don't think you should write a term paper, but I have broken it down into ethic problems. 30%, 10 points per paper, and there are 3 overall papers. Now, you will choose one, just one, of the ethics problems found in each section. Each question is complex and will require between 4 to 5 pages, double spaced, to answer completely. Now, this corresponds to the 11th updated edition. If you have an earlier edition, you will not be able to find these problems. So I have included them in the content section. Even if you have the 11th edition, you may want to use what I have included as a template. So you're going to pick the problem that you want, delete the rest. It's a Word document. So there you go. Now listen, I expect you to put a great deal of effort and thought into these papers. They replace a term paper, and so they're very important. Proper English grammar is expected, no foul language, and no text speak included, no emojis. But it needs to be a minimum of 4 pages of content. You do not need a title page. You do not need a works cited page. But if you include those, they do not count as part of the content. To successfully complete the assignment, you must answer each of the questions asked from your chosen problem. Then I've written paper shorter than 4 pages will be marked down. They will be. 4 complete pages. That means that if you write your 4th page is half a page, I'm going to mark it down several points. When your assignment is completed, place it in the appropriate assignment folder. All right, moving on. If you look at the next page, page 5, you will see section 1, choose one of the following. Section 2, choose one of the following. I even list the pages. Section 3, choose one of the following. And there you have it. All assignments must be turned in on the due dates given in the schedule. Exams must be taken on the set date unless arrangements are made in advance of the day of the exam. Grading, A, B, C, D, F. Don't An A is 90 to 100. Uh, a B is 80 to 89, and so on. The course schedule. As stated above, the course is divided into 3 sections. There's an examination for each section. The exams will be open for a 6-day period, Monday through Saturday, and the student may take it whenever it is convenient within the period. So, exam 1, 5 through 10 September, 19 through 24 September, exam 2, and 5 through 8 October, exam 3. If there's some reason that you can't take the exam on a scheduled date, or you wish to complete an examination or assignment early, contact me. The reading assignment schedule can be found on page 6, which is the last page. On 10 September, the student will have read chapters 1 through 4, and section 1 ethical problem is due. Additionally, the discussions close at this time. Now that's midnight on Saturday. Now you have a whole week. If you call me and say, oh, I tried to get it done at midnight, but it wouldn't open for me, I'm not going to have a whole lot of sympathy. If you don't have to wait till the last second to take the exam. 24 September, the student will have read chapters 5 through 8, and the section 2 ethical problem is due. Additionally, the discussions close at this time. 8 October is section 3, and your reading report is due at that time. Now, the course has another week after 8 October. So, guess what? That's makeup week. I will accept work that's late, but I will mark it down accordingly. Let's see. Okay, that is your syllabi. Go back to materials. You click on materials, and let's go to content. So you go to table of contents. You have course information, which is the syllabus and schedule. This video, the instructor information. Then there are assignments, ethics problem, section 1 ethics problem, and boom, there's a template. Section 2 ethics problem, boom, there's a template. Section 3 ethics problem, there's a template. There are instructions for the discussion board. There are instructions for the examinations, instructions for required reading, and instructions for extra credit. Yes, listen, the reading is hard. The reading is hard. The exams are hard. So, in order to help you, I have prepared practice examinations that you can take whenever you want. And since you know that exam 1 covers chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, I would suggest taking chapter practice tests 1 through 4 before you take it. You could take them as many times as you want, and what you see is what you get. The exam is taken from those practice tests. So there you have it. I mean, that will help you study. Do the reading and do the practice test. Now listen, philosophy, of which ethics is one of the 5 branches, makes difficult reading. And I don't expect you to master the material. I expect you to read it, but that students will say, well, it's so difficult that it took me 3 times to actually read it before, and I still didn't understand it. I don't expect you to master it. I just expect you to try. The practice test will help you. Don't count on it being an open book. test, because that will not help you. Some of you won't believe me, and you'll bomb the first test, and then you will believe me, and you'll start taking the practice tests. And then when you turn in your reading report, there are always students that say, well, I read it, but I didn't get it, so I'm not going to say I read the whole thing. Yes, you did. If you listened to it and you read through it once, you have completed what I expect. Don't overthink. Um, you can master the tests with a simple reading and then the practice exams. Discussion board, the instructions for the discussion board, people will say, what format do you want us to use? I don't have a format that's required. If you took college writing, use that format that you got from Don. Don does a great job, and use that format. It will help you. But again, don't overthink this. Um, if you do bomb an exam, you go to the extra credit. You take your exam and you write a short blurb saying what you missed, why you missed it, and what the correct answer was. And I will say you got a 40 on the exam. I will then give you a 70. I'll raise your grade to a 70 once you've turned in the extra credit. Don't just cut and paste from the test. But if you bomb an exam, don't worry too much. I am more concerned about how you do on the discussion boards than I am about the exams. When I used to be there in a lecture of this course, it was a lot of fun. Um, you know, because we all have different ideas about what is ethical. And it's just not as fun online, but we'll do the best we can. I'm more concerned about the discussion board. Now, the discussions, you're going to, whatever jumps out at you when you do your original postings, whatever interests you in chapters 1 through 4. And you can write more than 2 original posts or 4, but you're only going to be graded, on the 6 postings. But you can do more. Some students will do 10 or 11 responses. A lot of students say that this is interesting. They didn't think it would be, but that it is interesting when they get into it. So I think we've talked about everything. If you go down, you'll see the chapter PowerPoints. These, I did not write these. These are from the manufacturer of the textbook. You keep going. You'll see chapters 1, 2, and 3, textbook chapters. And I've done that in case some of you don't have your textbook yet. So you need a textbook, but you can do the first section almost completely by reading these. Below this, you'll find, excuse me, lectures. I've got a lecture on each of the chapters, and you can watch that. And I would appreciate that you would spend the time. It will help you, along with your reading, to understand what the chapters are telling you. I've included at the bottom of this a manners and etiquette video. This astonished me the first time I saw this, because 30 years ago, you would never see this on TV. You'd never see it on TV. And now it's kind of tame. It's for a product called Poo-Pourri. You'd have to see this to believe it. Maybe you've already seen it. Maybe I'm just old. Well, I am old. Haven't always been this way, but you'll be here one day. But it blew my mind when I first saw this. And so there you go. I think we've gone over everything. I want to stress again that you are free to contact me, and I wish you would. If you start falling behind, uh, you can make it through this class. You can make it through this class, but you have to put in a bit of effort. A lot of people think, oh, ethics, it'll be very easy. I'm a nursing major, and well, guess what? I have degrees in nursing as well, and the reading is intense, but you can do it. Just don't overthink it, don't over worry it, and if you run into problems, feel free to call, text, or email me. I think I've covered everything that's important, and so I'm going to say goodbye, and I hope to hear and see. I won't get to see you. I haven't been here but a year. I'm not used to not being able to see you on campus, but I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great semester.